everyone, and welcome to the Coffee Knits with Sarah podcast. My name is Sarah, and I'm a Michigan-based knitter, spinner, more on that later, gardener, and stay-at-home mom. And today we have a lot to talk about in this 8th episode. First, we'll chat about the tip of the Mitt Fiber Festival in Petoskey, Michigan, and then we'll chat about this finished object that I'm wearing, and we'll get into, of course, there's yarn acquisitions. I bought yarn, and sorry if you just heard my dog take a deep sigh there. We'll also talk about works in progress. I've been having a little bit of cast-on-itis, and then a spinning class that I took at Heritage Spinning and Weaving. So if all of that sounds interesting, or any of it, sit down, grab a cozy drink. I have an iced coffee today, which, it's getting warm out. But stick around and let's catch up. All right, the first thing I want to chat about is the tip of the Mitt Fiber Festival. I have the brochure right here. And it happened May 31st to June 1st at the end of last month at the Emmett County Fairground. And this was my second year going with my knitting besties. One of my good friends, Jamie, she actually vends at the event. And the four of us together, we rent a house, like an Airbnb, and we make a girls' trip out of it. And it's just the best. Staying up late, drinking wine and unwinding and knitting and spinning and chatting and having that quality time with friends that you share, like that common passion and bond of knitting and spinning and wool, is just really special. And I'm glad that I've found them since moving back to Michigan. But the event itself is really special. Sadly, it's not happening anymore. The organizers have decided to not continue it, but maybe in the future there will be something else that pops up, because northern Michigan is magical, especially at that time of year. The lilacs are in bloom, and it's by the water, it's by Lake Michigan, and it's just perfect. It's just so perfect. So fingers crossed something else pops up, because I know I have fun, and I think more people, if they knew about it, would also enjoy going up there. So let me share what I bought. First is this beautiful rainbow yarn, as my daughters like to call it, from Up North Yarns. It's the colorway Pictured Rocks. It's part of her Michigan inspired collection, and let's see, maybe I can even, pull this down a little bit so you can see it. But the Pictured Rocks are along Lake Superior shoreline. If you've never been, add it to your list, because it's a gorgeous place. I went when I was younger with my mom and dad. We've been all over the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. That was where we took a lot of family vacations. And so I picked up the skein from Monica at North Yarns because it holds, a special place in my heart. But as soon as I got home and I was showing my two daughters what I bought, my oldest daughter said, "Rainbow yarn, Mom, to match my rainbow bedroom," which she's going to be 4 in October. And we've decided we're going to paint her room, give her like a big girl, grown-up girl's bedroom, and she wants a beautiful rainbow theme, like very colorful. She loves red, and she's bold and vibrant, and I love her dearly. But she saw this and thought I bought it so that I could make her a blanket that would match her room. So I'm not gonna lie, that does sound tempting. Maybe I could knit her a blanket, but I would need more of this Pictured Rocks yarn. It's 85/15 merino nylon fingering weight, and it just brings me a lot of joy. Like, it's so colorful and it reminds me of wonderful trips to the Upper Peninsula and the Pictured Rocks. So thank you, Monica, for the beautiful yarn. I also discovered, well, new to me, I should say new to me, is the Dresow, D-R-E-S-O-W family farm. Stacy was there from Minnesota, and I bought lots of yarn from her. Let me hold it up. All together, it is the softest, gorgeous yarn. Let's read the label. It's 75 Cormo, 25 Merino, and a little VM. And it's compliments of sisters Snow and Suzette. The sheep are named Snow and Suzette, who this yarn is made from. But it's kind of this heathered, like light brown, a little bit of gray undertone to it. I just love her label too. It's like this cute little scrapbook label. She does natural dye. So that means, you know, she grows plants and flowers or scavengers, you know, on her farm, and she'll make that into the dye. Instead of using chemicals, she uses what comes from the earth, which is how, you know, our clothing and everything used to be made, and still is, some of it, but it's more rare these days. This is natural. This has not been dyed, but she had a lot of other beautiful skeins that were like these really pale yellows and gray or like brown, and I don't know, I'm trying to think, but they were all just like these soft, muted, earthy toned colors. And I knew right away, because I've done some research into natural dyeing, because once upon a time I thought I wanted to be a yarn dyer. I mean, who didn't? I think a lot of knitters have maybe tested those waters at some point. But yeah, I really loved her booth. I loved meeting her, and I plan to make I have some notes. What do I want to make with this? The Relaxed Tee by Amy Scher. And actually, she had hanging up a sample of that exact t-shirt pattern by Amy Scher. Excuse me. And when I saw the yarn and like I saw her pattern, or I saw oh my gosh, I saw the t-shirt knit in this yarn hanging up in her booth. I was like, that's it. Like, that clicked for me. And I think that's why a lot of vendors have samples made and have them hanging in their booth, because when you can see the yarn knit up in a pattern, you know, it just is like an equation. This plus this equals that, and maybe you're more likely to buy the yarn and make something with it when you can see. Like, I'm a visual learner, so like seeing something in front of me like that, it's more appealing to me, I guess, sometimes. So anyways, Stacy, thank you for your yarn. I love it. I love it. And I want to cast it on immediately, but I cast on something else instead that I'll share in a little bit. But this is my newest obsession, which isn't that how it goes? Like, you buy yarn and then you immediately become really obsessed with it and want to cast it on immediately until the next thing comes along, and then you want to knit with that. Like, I bought yarn at YarnCon that I really wanted to knit with, and then here we are with this yarn, and now I want to knit with this. Like, it just, that's how the yarn stash gets created. No shame. No shame in the beautiful stash. It'll get knit with eventually, right? All right, so I think that's all of Tip of the Mitt and my yarn acquisitions. And from here, let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is the Salty Air Tee, and it's a Samantha Gurin pattern. I've knit some of her patterns before. I knit the t-shirt pattern that came out last spring, which I'm blanking on the name, but I knit that. And so I was familiar with her patterns and I like her style. Like, they're very easy to follow. And this, I had never done this before, where it's a lace, it goes all the way around. Let me see. It goes all the way around the back. Circular yoke? Yeah, yoke lace construction, which I've done like a circular yoke construction before, but it was color work. So I'd never done the lace before in this way. And it was challenging. I struggled with a few things. I think it was like Y2, P2 or something was what I messed up on a few times. So if you look really up close, you'll notice some of those. I'm trying to figure it out right now. But yeah, there was one stitch that I kept messing up and fumbling, and I had to adjust it. But anyways, we did it. It's here. I knit this actually as part of the Friendship Tee make-along with Jamie at M1 Yarns. She also knit the Salty Air Tee in a different base. This is in her Lean Mean Machine fingering base, which is an 80-20, so 80 wool, 20 nylon, in the color Poppy, which it's cute, right? Like, we like a red moment. I think this is like a popular color right now. I'm wearing a dress and I can't fully like stand up and show you my head, but it hits me like right around, I would say like my waistline. This is my belly button here. But I actually was off with my row gauge. Nothing new. I'm a tight knitter, which I probably say in every episode. So my gauge was off. The pattern called for a 24 by 38 gauge, and I was 24 by 31. So I ended up needing to add length. The pattern also for under the underarm, when you go down, I knit the size 4 and it said to do 9 inches. I ended up doing 10.5, and that felt comfortable for me. I am a tall woman, and so I tend to need to add length no matter what, and I really love it. I think it's like the perfect summer, fall, winter, anytime, spring pattern. I'm thrilled with it. I'm so excited. And the Friendship Tee make-along ends this Wednesday, June 20th. So we did it for the first day of spring to the last day of spring, or the first day of summer. There are prizes. So if you use the hashtag Friendship Tee make-along and you're on Ravelry or Instagram, you can join and win stitch markers and yarn. So yeah, I hope if you have been part of that make-along, I hope it's been enjoyable. It's been very casual, and this is the first time that I've ever co-hosted or hosted a make-along before, and I really enjoyed it. What else? Let's talk about a cast on, shall we? So you might remember that I went to the Ann Arbor Fiber Festival in the spring, and I picked up some yarn. Specifically, I picked up this beautiful sock yarn from Fiber Story in the color Truffle. And it's like this really, how to describe it? Cool brown, taupe, truffle. I don't, like truffle color. It's called truffle, right? But it's got this nice little halo because it is 60% merino, 20% alpaca, and 20% nylon, which means it is so soft. It is drapey. It is luxurious. I mean, yeah, this is lovely. And once again, I bought this yarn because, oh my gosh, is her name Sarah? I feel like her name's Sarah at Fiber Story, and my name's Sarah. I think I remember that correctly. But she's based in Michigan, and in her booth, and forgive me if your name's not Sarah, but I feel like it was. But in her booth, she had some samples, and one of them was the Rock Formation Shawl. And my friends who I was there with, they had knit the Rock Formation Shawl in this yarn, and that inspired me to buy the yarn and knit that shawl. So just once again, that's how it goes. But here's what I've got so far. I am addicted to this. So here it is. And you cast on down here. So it's cables and ribbing, and it's knit flat. You've got a nice I-cord edge right here. I am trying so hard to not do a tight I-cord edge. Those of you who are shawl I-cord people probably know what I'm talking about there, but I've knit two shawls. And yeah, the I-cord edge was really tight, and then when you go to block it, it's not, it doesn't get as big as it doesn't get as big as it should, because it's restricted by this edge. So I have steam blocked this just to kind of show it off a little bit better. But I'm doing my best to not knit it super tight so that it can really get to the biggest, best potential. Yeah, the proper size, I should say. Here's an up close of it. Like I said, I am obsessed. And it's so soft, and it's just the perfect little thing to be working on when I'm sitting outside and there's a nice breeze, and I'm really into it. So if you're looking for something to work on, maybe it's a shawl, because I don't know, it's hot out and nobody has time to knit, or maybe you do, but it's hot here and nobody has time for bulky weight, DK weight sweaters right now. At least that's not what my heart is telling me to do. So that's that. I want to cast on a few other things. Like I said, I really want to cast on the Relaxed Tee by Amy Sher, but I really want to knit that shawl like all the time. So now I don't want to cast on a new thing. Problems. Okay. One of the last things I want to chat about is a spinning class that I took recently at Heritage Spinning and Weaving in Lake Orion, Michigan. This was actually a birthday gift. My birthday's in January, and my husband has been lovingly listening to me talk about wanting to spin for years. And when we lived in an apartment and then we lived in a townhouse, and it was always like, where's the spinning wheel gonna go? We don't have room. Well, now we have a larger home and I am still talking about spinning. And now I have this room. So I think there's like space, don't you, for a spinning wheel? But anyways, for my birthday, he and my 2 daughters gifted me a class at Heritage Spinning and Weaving. So Spinning 101. And maybe I'll insert a video or a photo or something, but I got to test out 3 different spinning wheels, as well as a drop spindle. So we actually learned first with our drop spindle, and we got to take this home with us. I was showing my daughters when I came home how to use it, so that's why it's in the state that it's in now with just a little bit on it. I found it challenging, but in a really good way, to use the drop spindle. I don't know, I really enjoyed it, and got the hang of it pretty quickly. And then so that was the first half, and then the second half we got to test out some spinning wheels. And I took this as an opportunity to try out as many spinning wheels as I could in the time that we had. I started with the Ladybug, and then I transitioned to the Matchless Double Treadle, and then lastly was the Ashford Joy 2. Those were all wheels that they had at the store for sale, and also the teacher, Summer, if you're watching, she has a Matchless Double Treadle, so she let me try her spinning wheel, which was so smooth, so nice. They all were really lovely. And so if you're a spinner and you're watching this, I would love to learn what you spin on, or maybe you spin on an e-wheel, an electric wheel. There was one of those there as well. And I think it's too soon to say what spinning wheel is kind of speaking to me the most. I like the idea of something that's a little bit more compact, so that, you know, it doesn't take up a huge amount of room, which is why I think the Ashford Joy was what I was drawn to at first, because I know that it's portable and it folds up nicely. I guess technically all of them can be taken apart, but you get what I am saying, like if you know about spinning wheels. But yeah, I really am excited to keep spinning. Hopefully it just grows from here and I get a spinning wheel. That would be really amazing. I bought some roving at the store, secondhand. So there's this Shetland yarn right here. And then we have this Michigan Corriedale Cross roving. So, really nice stuff. And let me show you what I actually did in class when I was there. We plied it together. If you made enough yarn, you got to ply them together. And this is my little mini skein. It's a brown and a gray. And I don't know if I can take out a little piece. Maybe not. But you get the idea. Well, here's the gray, just as is. Wow, it just ran away. So definitely like some thick, thin, very typical of a spinner's first foray into spinning. But I was able to get it pretty thin, which I was like stunned. It broke on me a few times, but I did get the hang of it. And I guess I'll just wrap by saying, like, I did grow up on an alpaca farm and going to alpaca shows, so I did see people spinning quite a bit as a child. And I did get taught how to spin, but it was again when I was a child. So somewhere deep in the recesses of my brain, I knew how to do it, or I was familiar with the terminology. But again, it's been like over 20 years since I've done anything like this, and it just was so comforting to be able to step back into it and then also just really learn it like properly, like in a class setting. I had a lot of fun, and I definitely would like to take another class and just keep learning from anyone who's into spinning. So yeah, that's my spinning class. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is my garden, and I think last time we spoke I had gotten things set up but not planted. I'm not sure, but now the raised garden bed, the vegetable gardens are planted, and all my perennials are planted out front that we did on Mother's Day, and the pollinators are just loving it. My girls and I go out every day and we water the plants, and we watch the birds and the bees, and hopefully we'll get some butterflies, but we just love to watch the wildlife. And I talk to my daughters about pollen and how important it is to, give bees an ecosystem, and how bees are so important, and to like respect nature basically. And the other thing that has been active are the deer in our neighborhood. We actually had a deer come right up to our front window and peek in while I was sitting and knitting after the kids went down to bed. So it's full on like spring into early summer here in Michigan, and all the animals and wildlife are out and about. But it's been really fun to spend a lot more time outside, which is why I think it's taken me a while to film a podcast. I've just been outside gardening and getting my hands dirty and playing with my kids. It's brought me and my family so much joy to see the flowers and the garden. So that's it for today's episode. I always have grand plans of being short and sweet, and then I get on tangents and I mumble and talk forever. But I really enjoy filming these podcasts when inspiration does strike, and I just want to share with you all who are watching. So thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, thanks for being here. And if you're a returning viewer and you're a subscriber, then welcome back. I hope you're doing well, and pop in the comments what you're working on, what you're knitting, what you're spinning, what you're gardening, or any of that. And we'll see you next time, hopefully in a month, maybe 2 months. But have a great June, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.